That's the whole excerpt. Okay. Almost to me, in reality, it's almost too fast. You have to think. You know, not only are we playing this, but we have the winds playing it, and for them to tongue those so quickly is very difficult. So we want a fast tempo, but a tempo that's controlled, where you feel it's poised, that you're not in danger of running forward. So I would take just a little bit slower, and yeah, good. Can we play once more? Yeah, can you tell me the phrase lengths here? How many bars and bars and bars? I don't quite hear from the playing.
Like, in a short way, like 2, 2, 2 bars.
Yeah, and 2, 2, 2, and then? So I think if we think of it, it's 2 plus 2 plus 2, or 6, and then another 6. I don't quite hear that. I mean, of course, and then, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just have that in mind. One, 2. So it's clear how you're building it up, because if we just play everything through, it's not quite clear to the listener how we build it up that way. Good, good. Yeah. And then 2, 3, and then the question is, with these fortes here, what do they mean here? Does that mean an accent, or more of just a little bit more weight on that? You play it almost as a sforzando. To me, that's, I think, a little bit harsh for this, because he doesn't say sforzando, it's just a forte. So, and the other thing is, you know, whenever he changes the pattern, we want to show that a little bit there. Is very, very interesting, because before he's always playing scales, and now he jumps. So we show a little bit of that phrasing. It's also helpful. Okay, let's try once more. This is a minor detail, but your first bar is not the same tempo as the second. You play yum ba dum bum 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 yum ba dum bum 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 bum. Yeah? It has to be a little quicker. Two, 3, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I interrupted you at the wrong place. But that's the idea there. And make sure yum ba dum is not yum ba dum bum. So it's really quite quick. Yeah. Good. That's actually the whole excerpt, no? And then after that, then this can be a little bit longer, yum ba dum bum, because it starts to have a longer phrase.
Longer,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play. Yeah. Instead how short you play it there. Can you play from A? Yeah? You go ahead. And make sure you go to the dum bum bum bum. the C is still in the crescendo. The third bar is still in crescendo, so we go to there rather than there. Yum, bum, bum, bum. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very tricky because it's easy to get a little bit behind with the yum. That's why I played a little more on the string. And then and it's easy also to get the rhythm to get distorted. Yum bum 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 bum. So we always want to make sure that the little note there is coming late enough. This is a little bit difficult thing in Beethoven, also in pieces like the Seventh Symphony. It often, the yum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum, you know, we get a little bit lazy and it becomes ya da dum ba. It becomes in 2 rather than 3. Yum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum. 1 2 3 1 2 3 yum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum. And the same thing here. 1 2 3 and rather then we hear it in 2. 1 2 1. So we have to make sure that that little note yum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum is on the later end of what we would normally do, if that makes sense. Because otherwise it gets lazy. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. So does that make sense? Just to be rhythmically very clear. Okay, and that's the last one you have, no? Okay, let's play from the beginning once more, and now we keep that kind of precision, but really stay pianissimo. Sometimes, you know, even the phrasing is within that pianissimo. So it's very, very fine detail there. Nope. One. Yeah, can you make the crescendo even more dramatic? So think a little bit planning-wise. We're pianissimo, we have to get to a real fortissimo there. So ya ta 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 ta, and maybe here not more than mezzo forte, and then we make a real crescendo the last 3 bars. So we have a build-up and then it explodes here. Possibly even shorter, less bow. So it's too much bow, it gets too loud. So you see, I'm almost using no bow. Of course, we have to think if we have a whole section of 14 violins or 16 violins, if everybody plays too comfortable, it's going to sound mezzo piano, mezzo forte. So we all have to play less than you normally would in string quartet or solo. That little bit amount of bow with articulation, and then the sound blends to create a pianissimo for the whole section, rather than mezzo piano, something in between. It's difficult, yeah. Very difficult. Do you want to try, maybe just for now, just play me the first couple entrances to get an idea of the tempo. And that can be really fortissimo. Yum ba-dum, bum ba-dum. Good. Yeah, yeah. Good. Yeah, and you know, it's just a question of like a little bit of a lean on the phrasing things. So, yeah. We have 4 bars there, we're melody. Now we're accompaniment. because it's elsewhere. Again, those 4 bars belong together. And then 4 bars, and then we start our 6 + 6 bars. So it's, something like this, it's useful to look at the whole score and see what role you're playing. Even if everything stays pianissimo, when you're playing in the orchestra, these 4 bars are accompaniment. They're just on top of what's going on elsewhere, and then you take over the theme, and we know which phrase lengths are happening everywhere. So we can create those that phrasing even within the pianissimo color. Okay? Ya ta 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 ta. Ya ta 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 ta. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, good. That's already better. It's a very, very tiny details of how we play it, but that makes a difference then when you're playing in this section, that it has that kind of control of those little things, that we can play that pianissimo completely controlled, but really pianissimo. I barely come off the string. Nah. Because if I come off the string, it's immediately too loud and it slows me down. So those little details will help you. And yum, bum, bum. Make sure that the third beat here does not have an extra accent too. Yum, bum, bum. Instead of, but you see how little bow I use? Not. Just try that, and then I think we should finish up because we're out of time. But here. Focus a little more on the impulse of the first beat. Yum, bum, bum. Yeah. And notice you always do, if I imitate, you move the violin there. Yeah, you see, you have better control that way. This is not necessary. Maybe we think it shows more in the music, but it makes it more difficult to execute technically what we have to do. Yeah. Good. Good. Very good. So that little bit extra control here helps a lot with the bow as well. Okay, very good. Thank you very much, and bravo.
So much.